Good morning, Unity. It's good to be with you again, online and virtually. My name is Reverend Wendy Craig-Purcell, and I am the minister of the Unity Center located in San Diego, California. To my usual Unity Center community, I miss you and I'm so glad to at least be able to connect with you like this. And to those of you who may be joining us for the very first time today, I welcome you into our community and I welcome you into this experience. We're going to start with the striking and the playing of an antique Tibetan singing bowl. And I like to use these to start our service as a way to help us ease into this actual experience, a time of coming together, even if it is coming together virtually, but coming together and really being in the space and in the consciousness of being open and receptive to that still small voice of spirit within us. So I invite you just to listen to these sounds, and as they become more quiet, feel yourself becoming a little more quiet and still. As the sound settles, feel yourself settling in. Join me for a moment of prayer. Closing our eyes and keeping our hearts open wide. We join together in this way to be reminded of the living presence of truth, of spirit, within us, all around us, and between us. Remembering together that there is no place where God is not, that right where we are at this moment in time, in all that is happening around us, the full presence of Spirit is here, always has been, and always will be. And so we choose to anchor into that truth, to let go of anything unlike it, that we might be grounded in faith and move forward with ease and grace. And so I give thanks in advance that this time together today is a time of remembering, a time of reflecting, a time of being open and receptive to new ideas that will help us to grow and evolve spiritually. And so we set that intention for ourselves and for one another. And we give thanks in advance that it is so. Amen and amen. I've selected as a piece of music this morning another piece by New Thought recording artist Denise Rosier, and the title of the song is Spirit in Me.
Live out in the open, shine from my life like the sun. Give of your goodness, conquer the darkness, spirit of light and love. Spirit, in me. Spirit in me. Live out in the open, shine from my life like the sun. Give of your goodness, conquer the darkness, spirit of light and love. Spirit, spirit in me. Give through me, speak through me, move through me, love through me, oh Spirit, Spirit in me, oh Spirit, Spirit in me.
What a beautiful reminder. A song like that is really more like a prayer, right? Spirit in me, love through me, speak through me, move through me. My lesson today is actually the conclusion of an exploration of Brené Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection. And today we're going to be looking at what she identifies as guidepost number 10 to wholehearted living. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the ideas of cultivating laughter, song, and dance by letting go of being cool and always in control. And so here are some readings that I have for us this morning. The first one's from Charlie Chaplin. Life is a play that does not allow testing. So sing, cry, dance, laugh, and live intensely before the curtain closes and the piece ends with no applause. Here's one from Walt Whitman. I am satisfied. I see, dance, laugh, and sing. From Robert Brault, enjoy the little things, for one day you may look back and realize they were the big things. Here's one from the Dreamweaver. It's a to-do list. To-do list: smile more, dance more, sing more, write more, read more, laugh more, love more, live more. You know, in this global timeout, when for all of us our normal lives have been turned upside down, it really is a time for us to step back into some activities that maybe we have put aside because we have been too busy. Here's a time to sing, to dance, to read, to play games together, to live more simply. Here's a saying from Rajneesh. There are a few activities which are immensely valuable. Laughter is one of these activities. Singing, dancing are also of the same quality, but laughter is the quickest. And this last is also another from Rajneesh. Every man now is responsible to create a Buddha field around himself, an energy field that goes on becoming bigger and bigger. Create as many vibrations of laughter, joy as possible. Dance, sing, let the whole of humanity by and by catch the fire of Zen and the experience of Zen. So just some readings to kind of put us in the space of this idea of cultivating laughter, song, and dance by letting go of always being in control or of being perceived as cool. And so take a deep breath with me and just settle into our time together even more deeply as we create together the experience of meditation. And before I have one of our beautiful chants by our music director, Janet Hammer, and before I lead you into a time of meditation, I'd really like you to try to think about all the people that you know in the Unity Center, if you're a member of our community. If not, your family and your friends, and though you may not be with them physically right now. During this shared experience of meditation, I really want to encourage you to bring them into your awareness, bring them into your mind, bring them into your heart, and as we meditate together, to really experience the energy of compassion and the energy of your heart, moving out toward them to include them in this wonderful field of peace and calm and compassion. So I invite you to go ahead and close your eyes and begin to notice the breath, taking a nice, deep, and mindful breath in, and then letting that breath go. Really let it go. Taking another deep and mindful breath in, and letting that breath go. Again, a deep and mindful breath in, and letting that breath go. Ever aware of the breath, perhaps repeating the cycle of letting go, being here, and opening up. Letting go, being here, and opening up. Mindful of the breath in, mindful of the breath out, as you allow the sounds of this beautiful chant to wash over you. 'Cause 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 'cause
Siri Guru
Continuing to be aware of the breath. Allow your attention to move to the area of the heart, as if each mindful breath is moving in and through the heart, breathing in peace, breathing out compassion.
Siri Guru
And continuing to deepen into this experience of meditation. Still mindful of each breath. Attention focused in the area of the heart. And bringing into awareness your loved ones, your family, your friends. Perhaps even coworkers, people you're used to seeing when you are out and about in your normal life. But bringing them into this quiet time and space. Holding in the silence, compassion and peace for each of them as well as for yourself. Perhaps even silently holding what is often referred to as a metta meditation. These simple words for yourself and for others. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I know peace. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you know peace. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we know peace. Stay in that awareness and that heart set for a few minutes longer, still mindful of the breath attention focused in the area of the heart, your loved ones brought into your awareness. Namaste. And so it is. Take a moment to stretch a little bit out of that time of meditation and out of that time of bringing into your heart and into your awareness those that you love and those that you probably miss an awful lot during this time. And so as we prepare to move into the message and set up for the message this morning, this idea of cultivating laughter, song, and dance, and letting go of being cool and always in control. I think of some of the recording artists that I've gotten to know as they have share their talents and their gifts with us at the Unity Center. And one of the things I have so admired about some of them is how they have jumped full heart and soul into their work. And in some cases, leaving behind, as I mentioned last week, successful careers in computer science and programming and so forth. And I'm going to introduce you right now to one such artist that I just adore. His name is Daniel Nahmad. And Daniel writes a ton of music and a wide variety of music. And I've selected this piece, and I really want to encourage you to listen to the message of these words in this song. The name of the song is That One. And it's all about looking at the kind of life you really want to have. And as I said a moment ago, you know, we're in a global time out right now, that we can use it wisely to step back and reflect on, am I living the life that I really want to be living? Now, of course, right now you may not be living the life you really want to be living, but the life you were living when things were, quote, normal. Is that really what you want? Or is there something that's been just kind of hammering at your soul, saying, no, not that, I want that one? So listen to this.
There's the kind of life when every choice you make's a safe one, predictable. When every moment's like the last one, everything even slightly barely scary is locked away. It's the kind of life where your engine's never gunning, sitting tight. I know your heart is hardly running. Nobody better be messing with the schedule for your usual day. Then there's the kind of life where your pot of gold may never come, where your dream's so big it's never done, where your work feels less like work than fun. Tell you what I want, that one, that one. I want that one, that one. Yeah, give me the kind of life where wrong is sometimes right and black is sometimes white as well. I want that one, that one. Oh yeah, that one, that one. I will fail and I'll succeed, I'll laugh and I will bleed. Every day's a mystery and time will always tell. Look at me, going a million different directions. Messy me, call it perfect imperfection. Don't bother asking me where I'm headed, cause I really don't know. No, crazy me. Today I may become a rock star. Then again, it would be cool to drive a NASCAR. Tomorrow I might decide to wrestle crocodiles for Nat Geo. You don't need to say that my pot of gold may never come. I know my dream's so big it's never done. But if my life can be never-ending fun, tell you what I want, that one, that one. I want that one, that one. Yeah, give me the kind of life where wrong is sometimes right and black is sometimes white as well. I want that one, that one. Oh yeah, that one, that one. I will fail and I'll succeed, I'll laugh and I will bleed. Every day's a mystery and time will always tell. Keep it to-do list to yourself. I'm doing what comes naturally. Don't wanna live like no one else. Gotta be true to me. Always be true to me. And that one, I want that one, that one. Oh, give me the kind of life where I'm kind of flying blind and black is sometimes white as well. I want that one, not some boring ordinary flat one. I will fail and I'll succeed, I'll laugh and I will bleed. Every day's a mystery and that's the life for me. Yeah, that's the life for me. That one.
All right. Thank you, Daniel, for letting me share that. And I understand Daniel's doing live music concerts, so check his website out. We'll have all that information posted, how to get in touch with these artists later. So cultivating laughter, song, and dance, letting go of being cool and always in control. Boy, I'm so glad that we have been exploring together Brené Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection, because man, trying to move a church from a physical operation to online has not been easy. It has been messy. It has been challenging. It has required trying to let go of being cool and definitely letting go of control. And I've got a little bit of work to still do there, but this is giving me a huge time to practice. So I want to start by sharing some of the way Brené brings this, opens this chapter. She begins with a quote from Mark Twain, and I love this quote. Dance like no one is watching, sing like no one is listening, love like you've never been hurt, and live like it's heaven on earth. Dance like no one is watching, sing like no one is listening, love like you've never been hurt, and live like it's heaven on earth. You know, it's as if some of these things, laughter and dance or movement and song, are part of our DNA, part of what we really are at our core. Brené writes in the opening of this chapter, in her book, Dancing in the Streets, A History of Collective Joy, social critic Barbara Ehrenreich draws on history and anthropology to document the importance of engaging in what she refers to as collective ecstasy. Ehrenreich concludes that we are innately social beings, impelled almost instinctively to share our joy. Impelled almost instinctively to share our joy. And then Brené goes on to say, I absolutely believe she is right. I also love the idea of collective ecstasy, especially now when we seem to be stuck in a state of collective fear and anxiety. I was struck by those words because this book was written, I believe, in 2010. And so Brené was referring to a different period in our history than what you and I are experiencing right now. Especially now, she writes, when we seem to be stuck in a state of collective fear and anxiety. It sure seems that that's an apt description for what many are feeling and experiencing right now through COVID-19 and the coronavirus pandemic. But yet that was written quite a number of years ago. What I know to be true is whether we're talking about a pandemic or anything else, that you and I always have the choice in how we're going to respond. There is so much in life that is beyond our control, but what is not beyond our control is how we're going to respond. And so you and I have the opportunity to be part of the consciousness that's going to lift us up, over, and through the experience that we're having together as a global family. We don't have to live in the energy of panic and collective fear and anxiety. We truly can choose to live in the field of collective hope and resiliency and creativity. I've got to tell you that one of the things that I am experiencing personally, and I'm watching what others seem to be experiencing as well during this time, is that there's a rising up of resiliency and creativity out of necessity. Because what we were doing, the way we were doing our life, our work, our families, we can't do that the way we were doing it just a month ago. And so to survive, we have got to step into collective creativity and resiliency. Going back to this idea of wholehearted living, which is the theme of this work of Brené's, and this guidepost, which is about cultivating laughter, a song, and dance, we've got to realize that we can use these experiences to lift us up. Don't take for granted the music that can lift your spirits. Turn it on and turn it on loud. Don't take for granted the people who can make you laugh or the programs that make you laugh. Or adorable videos of whether it's a little tiny baby just giggling and giggling and giggling and watching that to let yourself feel that bubbling up of joy. I'll tell you, we're stuck here right now doing what we're doing. We might as well find a way to go through it with greater creativity, with greater resilience, with greater hope. And we can if we put our minds to it. Don't take for granted the things that make you want to dance, or at least make you want to move. A little more from the book. Brene writes, as I sifted through my data, I asked myself 2 questions. Why are laughter, song, and dance important to us? And is there some transformational element that they have in common? Why are they important to us, and is there some transformational element they have in common? She writes, these were complicated questions to answer because, yes, we yearn to laugh and sing and dance when we feel joy, but we also turn to these forms of expression when we feel lonely, sad, excited, in love, heartbroken, afraid, ashamed, confident, certain, doubtful, brave, grief, and ecstasy, just to name a few. I'm convinced that there's a song, a dance, and a path to laughter for every human emotion, she writes. After a couple of years of analyzing my data, here's what I learned. Laughter, song, and dance create emotional and spiritual connection. Reflect on that for a moment. Laughter, song, and dance create emotional and spiritual connection. They remind us of the one thing that truly matters when we're searching for comfort, celebration, inspiration, or healing. We are not alone. We are not alone. Quietly affirm that. We are not alone. And then personalize it. I am not alone. I am not alone. You are not alone. We are not alone. Cultivating song, I know that there's a whole variety of music that I like and different kinds of music that I play depending upon the mood I'm in or the feelings I'm trying to get in touch with. I know in helping my mom through the loss of her husband, my father, just almost a year ago, that one of the most healing things for her has been a playlist of her favorite songs that she loves to listen to. And I remember shortly after first preparing that playlist for her, watching her listen to this music and just sobbing. And I stopped for a moment and I said, Mom, you don't have to play these songs if they're making you so unhappy right now. And her answer to me was such a wise answer and so tender. She said, but these are helping me feel. These are helping me feel. Song, music is powerful, isn't it? It can help us get in touch with our feelings, with our emotions, whether those are our feelings of grief and incredible sadness, or feelings of celebration and joy. Or we use music sometimes because we're feeling down or afraid and we know we need to pick ourselves up. Whenever I hear the song, the Beatles song, Hey Jude, I'm brought back to a certain soundtrack and period of my life. The very first slow dance I ever danced with a boy was to the Beatles' Hey Jude, and it was a very awkward dance. But music brings us back to certain memories and emotions and feelings, and cultivating that helps us to live a more wholehearted and joyful and alive life. One thing that's absolutely true about music, absolutely true, is its ability to move us emotionally like probably not much else can. In fact, if you doubt that, if you ever watch a director's cut of a movie without the soundtrack, the whole scene seems to go flat. It just doesn't have the emotion and the energy that the director is trying to convey without the music. cultivating dance. Oh boy, this is a tough one. A tough one. Brene writes in her book that one of the measures of the health of her family is how much they dance in the kitchen while they're preparing dinner. But in her research, and man, could I relate to this, in her research, she said it didn't take long to learn that dance is a tough issue for many people. For many of us, there is no form of self-expression that makes us feel more vulnerable than dancing. It's literally full body vulnerability. Oh my gosh, when I read those words the very first time I read her book 10 years ago when it first came out, I was put right back to being about, I don't know, I think it was maybe 8 years old or something like that, or younger. I was attending a family wedding. It was the reception of this big fancy wedding, and the band was playing music and inviting the bride and groom to come out and dance, which they did, and then inviting other people to come out and dance. And as a little kid, I thought, well, I should go out. Well, I went out all by myself, and I froze because everybody around me was dancing and moving, and I didn't know what to do because I didn't know what to do. And then all of a sudden I heard the DJ, or whatever they would have been called in those days, could somebody please help that little girl out on the dance floor? I nearly died. And I bet you it's one of the reasons to this day that if I dance, I'm going to dance by myself, alone, where not even my family or anybody else is going to see me. It's a place for me to grow, isn't it? Absolutely. But I bet there's some of that for you as well. You know, movement and dance is, I believe, is actually in our DNA. And the reason I think so is, have you ever watched a toddler? When music is played that has a definite beat, that toddler, even if, wearing their little diapers or whatever they're wearing, their little body is doing this and they're moving around, whether it is a herky-jerky move or in rhythm or not, something in their little body is wanting to move in response to that music. And if you look at them, they're happy and they really don't care if anybody thinks it looks cool or not. It's just this unbridled joy. But to cultivate these qualities in us as adults, for some of us, there is some healing work that we might have to do. We may have gotten messages as a little person, like my sharing with you my experience as a young girl on a dance floor, my experience singing in school in a choir. The choir director, I vividly remember this, walking up and down the risers, listening to the different harmony parts and stopping in front of me and saying, "You're out of key, just mouth the words." I decided right then and there, obviously she's very smart, and she was probably right. I was probably not singing it properly. But that struck such a deep place, I decided, I'll have an ear for music, but you're not going to hear me sing. So it's like, I don't need to sing as a minister. In fact, I always turn my microphone off when we're doing a group song or something. I don't need to sing as a minister. However, what I do know is that there's healing to be done there, because there's a part of me that has contracted around that embarrassment and shame, around that feeling of not quite good enough, right? And what I know is a contracted life is not a happy life. A contracted life, to the degree that we are contracted, to that degree we are not living as fully and as joyfully as we could be. Brene says, to cultivate the experiences of laughter, song, and dance, we have to practice letting go, and letting go of being cool and always in control. Wanting to be cool and in control keeps us quiet and still when we could be out dancing, literally or figuratively. Letting go of being cool and always in control. I think about letting go of, as I think about letting go of being cool and always in control, I can't help but think of some of my favorite late night TV hosts and programs. And as I have watched them over these last couple of weeks, I've taken absolute delight and inspiration as they, just like me, have had to move their operations out of their studios and into their homes and are trying to clumsily do some of the very same kinds of things that I am, trying to be in front of the camera, and maybe they have their spouse, as I have mine, on the other side of the camera, trying to figure out what buttons do you push, and do we make sure that the dog is quiet, and are the alarms off, and those kinds of things. It's messy, isn't it? It's messy. Life is curly. Don't try to straighten it out. Sometimes life is messy, but we have the opportunity to stretch and grow through that. And I think that this is a perfect time for us to be practicing this individually and collectively. Learning can be messy and raw, but it can also be inspiring. When I think about whether it's people like Brené Brown and how she got into the work that she's doing and how the work started to work on her and she had to deal with some of her own issues of vulnerability, and watching her grow through both her presentations and her writing, that's inspiring to me, and I bet it's inspiring to you too. When we see people who maybe usually are very polished and very professional, suddenly having to start almost from ground zero and figure out things in a completely new and different way, but we see them kind of fumbling, but yet doing the best that they can, that's inspiring, isn't it? It's also, to me, what it means to be living from a wholehearted place in life, living from a whole spectrum. We miss a lot if we are pretending to be cool. And learning new things, trying new things, is probably going to put us in a place of not looking too cool and maybe even looking kind of goofy or clumsy. I was deeply touched as a mom by one of the stories that Brené shared that happened to her when she and her daughter went out to Nordstrom's to pick up something that they needed. And as Brené describes this, she said, I didn't feel like doing my hair or my makeup or anything like that, and I had my old clothes on, and my daughter and I just went out because I needed to pick up some makeup. And as I was picking up the makeup, my daughter reminded us that there was something that we needed to do in the shoe department. And so she writes that they're going up or down the escalator, and as they are, Brené sees three absolutely gorgeous, dressed to kill women with their equally beautiful daughters just standing, looking at all of the shoes, and Brené's thinking to herself, trying not to compare, right? If we want to squash our joy, one of the quickest ways of doing that is to play the comparison game. Trying not to compare herself to them or their daughters. And then she sees out of the corner of her eye her daughter dancing this goofy, weird kind of dance in the department next to the shoe department. And she catches this look on her daughter's face of pure panic because the three beautiful women and their gorgeous daughters are looking at Brené's daughter like, what a fool. And Brené says, it was like she froze. Do I throw Ellen under the bus, or do I show up as the great mom? And thank goodness she made the choice that she did. And she looked over at her daughter and she says, "Hey, honey, you're forgetting the best part. You're forgetting the goofy scarecrow part." And she started to dance with her daughter to the music and in the same fashion. And it just melted, the ice between them. You see, so much of the time we put too much emphasis really on what other people think of us. And if we think that we can't be good enough or look good enough or sound smart enough or whatever we're doing to ourselves in that kind of category, if we're not at the top, then we don't even enter the game. And what a tragedy that is. Because as you've heard me say so many, many times, we could co-create a much more just, happy, peaceful, healthy, and joyful world for all of us if we recognize that each of us has unique talents and gifts and skills and abilities, that each one of us matters, that we are not meant to be the same, We have our own unique way of being. And if we allow ourselves to contribute from that and create a safe experience for others to step into their uniqueness, we would really fundamentally change the quality of life for our human family. So as I wrap this up, I want to remind you that there is within you a spirit that wants to sing and move and laugh. Don't put that aside ever, but especially not now. Cultivate the kinds of things that put you in touch with music that stirs your spirit and lifts you higher. Look for those things that make you laugh, that bring a sense of joy. As Mark Twain said, dance like no one is watching, sing like no one is listening, love like you've never been hurt, and live like it's heaven on earth. Namaste. God bless. And so as we move into just the ending of our service, there are just a few things that I want to share with you. First of all, thank you for your patience and kindness and support during these crazy times and for showing up in community as our beautiful Unity Center family. I am going to continue to offer some ongoing Zoom check-in gatherings. Dates will be established for those either today or tomorrow. I'll set up the calendar for this week. You'll want to make sure that you're on the Unity Center email list so that you can be notified of those gatherings and anything else that we have planned. We'll be continuing our Wednesday centering prayer as well as a weekly meditation time with David Stanley. Also want to thank our visiting virtual musicians. We will make sure that included in this post are the names and the website addresses for Janet Hammer, Denise Rosier, and Daniel Nahmad, so you can support their work. I want to continue to express my gratitude to you, our Unity family, as well as our new and growing online audience, for your support of our ministry, especially at this time. You can contribute via the Unity Center app, and if you have problems knowing how to do that, let us know. We can walk you through. You can make a one-time gift or a recurring gift, and you can still contribute via check if that is your preferred way of giving. And because in Unity we believe so much in the spirit of giving, that how we give is as important as what we give. I just ask you to join me in imagining that you are sharing your gift now, whatever it may be, as we bless this gift with this affirmation. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. And so now as we bring our service to a close, there is one last little gift that I want to share with you that was shared with me, and in the spirit of laughter and joy, and most of all, in the spirit of being healthy and safe, please enjoy this.